Chicago's First Plus. This is Sports Tonight.
Welcome to Sports Tonight here on Friday, Lee.
What's going on, Scott?
How's it going?
It's good, man.
As always, of course, I'm sports producer Scott Pennyman here with the other sports producer, Lee Smith.
Woo.
Lee, look, I love doing these on Friday, right? Because I always call it Football Friday. Because pretty much everything we're going to talk about is football related.
It's not basketball.
Don't you just love it, though?
I love it. Give me football all day, every day.
All day, every day?
365 days a year.
Yeah. I like football a lot, too. But it seems like, look, the great part about this time of year, though, is there's almost a football game on every night.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's wild, isn't it? Because
it's awesome. It's awesome.
You have football over the weekend, so you have football on Saturday, Sunday, and then you have Monday Night Football. And then Tuesday you get a break. But then Wednesday you have like MAC games on ESPN.
So do they still do MACtion
for
on
sure.
Wednesday nights?
It's MACtion. I saw it this past week. It was like Ball State against somebody. I think it was Bowling Green and Ball State.
Yeah.
I covered the MAC for a lot of years. So
did you?
I'm down for some
Ohio.
MAC football.
Yeah.
Most of those schools are in Ohio, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of I love MAC football. I always tell people, you could take, okay, so seriously, if you look at the guys from the MAC conference who have been successful in the NFL, so if you took over the last 20 years, the best of the SEC as far as how they played in the NFL, the best of the Big Ten, the best of the ACC, best of the Pac-12.
And you're still taking the MAC?
No, but I think that would be a very competitive football team. If not, I think they would beat some of those teams. When you think about, I was going over like with the MAC, they have like Ben Roethlisberger. He played there. Obviously, he's one of the great quarterbacks of his era.
Yep.
You have guys like Antonio Brown who played in the MAC.
Yeah.
Randy Moss played in the MAC. I mean, and then like with running backs, you had like Brandon Jacobs who played. I mean, a whole bunch of really good football players came from the MAC conference. So I think I always smile when I look at that conference because I know some really good football players.
Well, I'm going to let you handle all the MACtion because
That's cool.
I don't know next to anything about it other than it fills the gap in the week.
That's
of
true.
The one day that's like there's no football, boom, MACtion showed up.
It's not like SEC
now we got it
football,
like
right?
6 days a week.
True. Hey, well, I'll tell you what. Let's start with some NFL. Obviously, the Falcons this week trying to bounce back with their new quarterback. Well, not new quarterback, but their new starting quarterback, Taylor Heineke, as they'll host the Minnesota Vikings. And the Vikings are going to have a pretty new quarterback, too, with Jaren Hall starting his first NFL game from BYU. Seems like when you look at it, when you look at Heineke, as experienced as he is at the quarterback position, maybe that offense gets some life this week. It seems like, I'm not going to call it a layup because it is the NFL. It's any given Sunday. Anybody can be anybody. But I think if you look at this game and the matchup and everything like that, it seems to be tailor-made for a win.
Yeah, and especially since it's at home. I still think that's the biggest deal of any of the stats, any of the comparisons you want to make. It's at home. The Falcons play well at home. So I feel like it's going to be a good day to be a Falcon, and there are going to be a couple of Dirty Birds touchdowns going on because here's the thing. They have a lot of injuries, though. Drake London's out with a groin injury.
That's
safety,
tough.
Yeah, it is. Well, I mean, he's their leading receiver, so.
Yeah.
I think nearly almost 450 yards.
Yeah.
32 or 33 catches, 2 touchdowns.
That's a tough injury, though.
Yeah. So your leading receiver's out, but their quarterback is out. So that's really
huge.
I mean, that's the biggest deal of all, especially because Kirk Cousins is playing pretty well this year too. I mean, and Justin Jefferson's still out, right?
Justin Jefferson's still out too. Yeah. So they're banged up.
Their 2 best players are gone. So.
Yeah, and that's why I say. I mean, I think when you look at the schedule, when you look at what Minnesota is bringing to town, it seems like a game that's pretty well set up for them to win. Especially with Taylor Heineke. I mean, he's the most experienced quarterback in the building, right? That can play as far as anything. So I mean, I think like most things, I think their offense will get a little jolt. So I think they'll play better because there's a new quarterback in there. The teams haven't really seen Heineke with the Falcons yet, right?
Yep.
So it's probably except for the second half last week, so maybe a little hard to game plan for. And yes, we talked about this on Monday too, even before they made the official announcement, because I think we had an idea that it was going this way and they were probably going to take Heineke. And look, I was one of the people who said that I don't know how much sense it makes, just from a standpoint of. So Ritter got 8 games, right?
Yep. And well, plus the 4 last year.
Right.
So 12 total.
Right.
12 total, but 8 this year, yeah.
Right. So you got a 12-game look at Desmond Ridder. I guess for their sake, I was just sort of hoping that he would play all 17 games just so you can have a clear picture moving forward of what you needed to do with the quarterback.
It's kind of crazy, right? That you're starting quarterback in the NFL and you get 8 games. It's
wild.
Your leash is not long.
No.
And especially if you're like Heineke said this week that he actually, it helped him out that he went undrafted, because if you went a first or 2 rounds, you get like a year or 2, and then people are moving on.
It's expectations, right?
You don't have time to develop. You're thrown in the fire like right from the get go. And he said he wouldn't have been able to really deal with that well. So he benefited from sitting a couple of years and then slowly being brought into all the systems. And look, now he's a starter. So
I've said it for a long time. I think just where we're at, just not just in sports but in life, we have a way more impatient society, right? So I think that sort of extends over to sports. When you look at the NFL, it used to be when I was growing up watching football, a young quarterback would get 3 and 4 years to be able to prove himself and become the quarterback that you thought that he could be.
Yeah.
Now you might not even get a full season. That's just how things work in today's NFL.
Or you might sit under QB1 for 2 or 3, 4 seasons.
Exactly.
Aaron Rodgers.
That was very common back in the day where a guy would sit for a while. Now it's like once a guy start playing. I mean, I saw Green Bay even with Jordan Love.
Yeah.
But the general
Bryce
manager
Young,
there.
game 1, snap 1.
Yeah.
CJ Stroud, game 1, snap 1.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, you're paying. You draft these guys that high. I mean, you got to get some return on value.
Right.
And it just seems like everything moves faster these days.
Yeah. Just
in
everything.
the NFL, everything.
And that's just where we're at. I mean, these teams are evaluating these guys off like a year. Like I said, Green Bay's general manager, he wouldn't commit to Jordan Love being the starter past this season. He said, look, I mean, these last 8 games, we have to see. And already Desmond Ridder has been benched 8 games into the season. So I think what we have, if we have a society, especially more specifically fans, who are increasingly impatient, really based on what players make nowadays and where they're drafted through expectations. And there's a lot of money involved. So I think what you have is you have impatient fans. Ownership sees that. When ownership sees impatient fans, owners get impatient. When owners are impatient, people get fired. And that's just the reality of sports in 2023. So yeah, a lot of these quarterbacks aren't getting but a year to show what they can do. Tops. I mean, 2 years tops before we consider them a bust. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, hey, one last note on the field, by the way. Vikings defensive end Danielle Hunter leads the league in sacks with 10.
Oh, wow.
So
wow, yeah, he's always been a good player.
Good luck offensive line for the Atlanta Falcons. Good luck.
Good luck with Danielle Hunter, right?
Yeah.
But look, I think my prediction, though, I'm going Falcons get the win 24-17.
24-17?
I'm going 24-17 Falcons.
You think they score 17? I think they'll probably do 13. I think they'll get a touchdown and 2 field goals.
Yeah, I like the element of surprise. No Grady Jarrett, too.
I'd say 24-13. Yeah.
Okay.
24-13 Falcons.
So you're going 24-13.
Yeah.
I'm going 24.
Not far off.
Yeah, so I'm going 24-17. So, but I think we both agree that the Falcons will win Sunday, right? So on the UGA, a team who never loses, right? they
it's been a while.
Take care of business every single week.
Been a long time.
Another test, if you will, this weekend, as they'll host Missouri tomorrow, 3:30 p.m. Right? You'll be there.
Yeah.
Right.
On the sidelines. Yeah.
So that's another one of these games that coming in, people were thinking. I know Emily Gagnon is up there, like, she thought this would be a stiff test for UGA. I'm not buying it. I'm being honest. I'm not buying it. This is going to be a stiff test.
Okay.
I exaggerated earlier in the week, and I said they're going to win this game 56-7. Okay, maybe it won't be that bad, but that's the kind of game I'm expecting. I'm expecting UGA to win going away because I'm not buying this. I hear this every single week. People say, well, now this is going to be a stiff test this week, and these games all start the same way. Missouri will come out with an early touchdown. They'll be up 7-0 or 7-3, and then they'll get raced off the field in the second half, and UGA is going to win this one. I'm going to say 38-7.
Dang, dude, 38-7.
It's not going to even be that close.
I think it'll be closer than that.
Really?
Yeah.
Based off what?
Based off the fact that Missouri, let's see, hold on. I think they do have. Yeah, they've got some common opponents in there. So let's see. Missouri 38-21 win over Kentucky. 38-21, and UGA won.
They beat up on Kentucky, didn't they?
No, they did. They did. Let me see what it was. I can't remember the score. It was 51-13.
Yeah, exactly. They beat their brakes off.
All right, just kidding. Maybe it's not going to be good for them. But no, this should be. I think it'll be a good matchup, and I don't know. It just depends because do you get the team that shows up on the road against Auburn and Auburn runs for 200, 300 yards on them? Do you get that kind of Missouri performance right out of the gate?
Look, I mean,
thing is Georgia doesn't lose at home. They just don't lose at home.
They don't lose at home. They don't lose much on the road either. So
no, I don't. They don't lose. Period. Really.
Right. They don't lose.
But they especially protect home.
Yeah. So I mean, I have no reason to believe, from what I've seen this year, I totally believe that Georgia is the best team in the country. I said that before. I know Ohio State, and look, I'm an Ohio State fan, and I can make the confession that I believe that UGA is the best team in the country. I believe
wow.
There's no question about it in my mind. I mean, I've watched a lot of different teams play this season.
Big man to admit that.
Yeah, I've watched all the top teams, including my Ohio State Buckeyes, and I know that Ohio State's flaws outweigh any flaw that Georgia has. And there's no question. I believe number one is the quarterback play. I think Carson Beck's how he's played quarterback is better than Ohio State's quarterback. When I look at just their around the ball, defensively, how they run the ball, the contributions they get from guys in the backfield. Someone steps up every single week. I mean, Brock Bowers went down. I don't think the offense missed a beat because Oscar Delp stepped in there and they found other guys. They threw the ball to their receivers more, and they find a way to put up the points that they need every single week to blow you out.
So here's the thing. All right, so Brady Cook is their quarterback. So he's got 15 touchdowns, 3 picks on the year, which is really good. And about, 2,260 yards. And then Carson Beck has 14 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and almost 2,500 yards. So we got a couple more 100 yards, one less touchdown, and 1 more interception. So, and let's see, Connor Schrader's got running back.
Right?
Their running back, yeah. 800 yards, 9 touchdowns, and their receiver Luther Burden, 900 yards and 6 touchdowns.
But let's be real.
Dude, I don't know, man.
But let's be real. Where Georgia's going to win this game is up front. No one in the SEC or even in the country, for that matter, can really compete with Georgia on the offensive line and on the defensive line. And that sets the tempo for the entire game. So when they play against Missouri, who's not as talented as they are up front on either line, that's going to be the difference. So I don't care what running back you have in the backfield and who you have at quarterback or who you have a wide receiver. They're going to pressure them so much, they're going to control the line of scrimmage to a point where none of that will matter.
Well, guess what? ESPN agrees with you. they give Missouri a 16.7% chance to win.
That's about 14% higher than the chance I give them to win.
Yeah.
And the only 2%
Georgia's at 83.3. So
right, and that's
by the way, Vegas also agrees with you. The betting line is 15.5 for Georgia.
Look, the only chance I would have given Missouri to win this game is if the game was on the road and the UGA team bus caught a flat on the way to the stadium. That would have been the only chance I given them to win.
Hey, if that happened, they'd have a police escort. They just have state troopers just shuttling people.
Exactly. So it's really no chance. And now this is a home game. So there's no need for a team bus to the game. They could probably walk, right? So
I'm going to say they probably win by, I'd say 21.
Okay. Well,
I don't know what the scores are. I just think it's going to be 21.
We'll go fair. So let's go to the team right down the road from us, Georgia Tech, as they'll play Virginia. A struggling Virginia team. I think Virginia's 2-6,
2-6.
Yeah. So
Georgia Tech's 4-4.
I would like to assume that this could be a win for Georgia Tech, but we know it's been kind of weird with them this year.
Well, last year Virginia came here on the flats, and they took care of business. So
right. So I mean, I don't want to sew this up as a win for Georgia Tech, especially since they're sort of an up and down team. I mean, one week they look good, one week they look bad.
You can't follow that win last week up with a loss this week. I mean
that's what they've been doing up to this point.
I know. Maybe this is the trend breaker.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe this is the time they step up and they realize hey, everything's still in front of us. We can still go to a bowl game at least. We just win 2 more games. boom, we're in.
They're just so inconsistent this year. I mean, they beat Miami, right? So they beat Miami.
They beat Miami and North Carolina, yeah.
That's two really strong ranked teams who they beat, but then they'll lose at home. They lost at home to Bowling Green.
To Bowling Green, yeah, that was a really bad loss.
And like we just talked about, I'm all for some action, but that's ridiculous, right? I mean, to lose on your own home field to a MAC team, come on, man. I mean, I'm not. And like I said, I'm not.
Mr. Ohio.
Look, I understand. I like the MAC conference. I think they're really good. But if you're a big-time ACC team that recruits at a higher level like Georgia Tech does, I would expect you to take care of business if you play a team like Bowling Green, and they didn't. So that's been the trouble for them this year, being able to maintain a level of consistency. And, earlier Brent Key talked a lot about, his expectations for this game and what he expects his game to be and how he expects his team to come out in this game. Let's listen to a little bit about what he had to talk about their opponent, UVA.
All right, excited to go play again this Saturday. Get a chance to go play a team in Virginia that's really playing their best football right now in the last 2-3 football games. They're playing with a lot of confidence as a team, and I think I said on Tuesday they've got, I believe it's 4 losses. Was it 4 losses? 4 losses by a total of 10 points, and had double-digit leads in 3 of those games. And so there's a lot of similarities in football teams, outside of 1-loss records. So you look at a team that's playing with a lot of confidence on tape. For 2 weeks now, 2 or 3 weeks now, we've had crossover film and seeing them play. So for 3 weeks, you've seen the development of this team and the confidence growing week in and week out, and really understanding who they are as a full team and how they play complementary football in all 3 phases. Really with that, offensively, they're getting into really the rhythm of who they are as an offense. They're playing with good tempo and running tempo plays, but at the same time, I think they're top 10, top 20 in the country in time of possession. So they're doing both. They're able to play with tempo as well as control the clock within the game. And really offensively, when you look at them, you got to look really at the number 4 wide receiver. I think he's one of the tops in the ACC and tops in the country in catches. A good player. They do a lot of different things with him. Whether it be screens or RPOs or quick game, and he's a guy that can catch it short and run long. So he's a dangerous player. And then the guy that is really the bell cow for that offense is number 20, the running back. And I just so much respect for him, so much respect for that football team. What he's been able to accomplish after going through what he's gone through and that team has gone through. He is and as he should be, a true inspiration for all of college football across the country and really the whole United States. I mean, this is a guy that's been through a lot. The team's been through a lot with him, and the way he's coming out and playing now and putting that team on his back in a lot of instances when they need it in short yardage situations and down in the tight red area in those situations. Defensively, they're a team again that's for 2 years now. You've seen the growth in this team defensively of who they are, what they're doing. Really, all 3 levels of the defense from the front end for the defensive line. They're big, they're stout, they're strong. They mix up things in the front where they'll mix in some 2-gap techniques and then play 4 or 5 different fronts within normal down situations, and then get in some exotics on 3rd down and try to beat your protection. So on the back end, they mix their coverages up. They'll play zone and keep things in front of them, and then mix in the man and make you have to beat them with man coverage, and mix in some different variations of cover 2 and support the run from the outside in. So it will be a big challenge for us in all 3 phases. Defensively, again, number 20 on defense, their safety. I mean, he is what you look for in a safety now. I mean, he's 6'1", 210 pounds. He is a heat-seeking missile. I think he leads the conference in solo tackles. He's a surefire tackler, whether it be on a receiver, whether it be on a running back. how they use him in support. He's all over the field. It's hard to get a hat on in the run game blocking by the way they use him and insert him into the box. But he's a dang good football player, and like I said, they're big and stout up front. They do a good job, flat walling the line of scrimmage. They're not a team that's going to get a bunch of negative plays and penetrate, but they're going to keep everything in front of them and let those linebackers and DBs come in and make the plays.
Always good to hear from Brent Key. He's obviously locked in and focused on his team's game against Virginia. Once again, I'll go ahead and predict that one. I think they win. I'm going to give them a 20-17 win.
Ooh. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. No, I like that. I like that a lot.
All right. So
hey, look, as long as they get a W, doesn't matter.
Right. So we just talked about a team that was down the road. Let's talk about a team that is down the street, but a little far down.
A little further down the road.
Depending on how you drive over there, down 85.
Just past the connector.
Exactly. Just past the connector.
Past all the traffic, yeah.
Georgia State. They'll be hosting James Madison this weekend. Number 23 ranked. Yes, you heard me correctly. Number 23 ranked James Madison. I know it's kind of hard. Right. It's kind of hard to imagine. I mean, I couldn't even believe my own eyes when I saw it. I'm like, wow, they're ranked 23rd? Get out of here.
Hey, well, they're 8-0, so, that'll do it.
They're doing something right?
They're 8-0. Have not lost this year.
So, what's your prediction for that one?
Oh, I don't know, man. I got to lean James Madison.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, dude, I would like to see Georgia State pull the upset, but, man, how do you root against somebody that's undefeated in November?
Georgia, look, I
don't know. But look, Georgia State's been sneaky all year,
and they have a good chance they're gunning for that Sun Belt title.
Well, they're currently in third in the East, in the Sun Belt East. So, all right. They're coming off that loss to Georgia Southern. Last Thursday. Yeah. Thursday night. Yeah. So
they're well rested.
They are well rested.
Yeah. So I tell you what. I got over there this week, actually yesterday, talked to Coach Sean Elliott, one of his players, just about what this season has been so far and the focus that it's going to take for that team to be able to beat a ranked team at home like James Madison, a team who hasn't lost yet. He's really happy with where his team is at as far as their focus level. Definitely a big change from what the team was last year, and him and their players are very confident that they can not only compete in a game like this, but they can win a big game like this. Check it out. What would you say is the mindset of you guys heading in?
Well, we turned the page in November, and we're still here in the conference race. And then you have a foe like James Madison coming in. I think they're the 23rd ranked team in the country. They got a great offense. I think their head coach does an outstanding job, and it's going to be a big challenge for us. It's going to run through them. Unfortunately, they're not able to play for the conference championship this year, but they're certainly tops of the league, and we got to knock them off.
So, what do you think has you guys prepared to, just more prepared to be able to get up for games like this? What about your preparation makes you guys ready and prepared for this?
Yeah, I think the all season prepares you for your season. The things that we go through in our all season, the mindset that we have to be going into some of the things that we get ourselves into in the off season really has propelled us for games like this, for the tough games, the tough opponents, and it prepares us for everything that we do. But honestly, if it wasn't for a great all season, we wouldn't have a chance to come out here and play well. And I owe it all to our players. Our players are the one that did it in the off season and throughout the summer. And here we are with a chance to go play for a conference championship potentially against a really good opponent.
And just think about, I think I talked to you about this last time. Just the kind of whirlwind it's been, right? From when you guys were at this time last year to be here. I guess, what do you attribute that to?
Well, we were a fractured football team a year ago, and there was a lot of injuries. I look back and I was watching a film the other day of last year's game, and some of our offensive line that were playing out there. Just so much has evolved. Different positional players are back in there. We've got a solid front five. We've added some pieces in the transfer portal, and we've lost some pieces that were taken away from our football team a year ago, which is a good thing. But all in all, this team is much different than we were a year ago. We're not the same team team that faced this group. They're not the same team that faced our group a year ago. It's going to be exciting to watch us come out here and compete. I think the game starts at 3:30. It's a nationally televised game against two very good football teams, so tune in.
And so I guess my last question is, it seemed like, from what I watched for you guys this year, and like so many of your games, like you guys just seem to find a way.
Well, I think that's I think that's life. I think you find a way. I think so many things are thrown at you during the course of the season, during the course of your lifetime, and you got to find a way. And ultimately, the team that finds a way finds themselves on top, and that's what we're trying to do. We still have 4 solid weeks to go in this season. One game, I'll say it, one game at a time, and James Madison is right there ahead of us, and we got to find a way.
What do you think about your preparation has you guys ready? I mean, as the coach talked about, it's be a national TV game. People are going to be watching. When you keep winning games, you're winning, people will take notice.
Yeah.
So what about your preparation kind of has you ready for this moment?
I think it's just what we did all off season. We faced a lot of adversity, a lot of, like Coach said all the time, so what, now what? And I think that just gets us in the mindset of just accomplishing anything that we want to. So just coming to this week, we just have a lot of confidence, despite the loss from last week. But just playing our brand of football, having fun, and just focus on little things.
For the most part this season, you guys are just finding a way. I mean, like, even if you get down in situations and have a bad play here, it seems like you guys are able to fight back and find a way. What do you attribute that, I guess, resiliency to?
Just the hard work and dedication, and just knowing that we can get through anything. Football is a game where nothing's gonna always be perfect. So we're gonna have bad plays, we're gonna have things where we have to overcome. But just knowing how hard we worked this whole off season, and just knowing that it's gonna be okay. Just keep fighting next play mentality, really.
Yeah. And so to be in this situation now, obviously it's a big difference from how things went last year. So to be in this situation right now with kind of everything you want still in front of you, I guess kind of what does that feel like?
You talking about me personally?
Yeah,
or you talking about this team?
Yeah.
I mean, from last year to now, it's just more of the leadership role. I kind of embraced it, just straight and positive to the guys, trying to bring them along with me. But it's been a blessing though, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to Coach Mike, it's got to feel a lot different just to be, to have a season where just everything that you still wanted from this season is still in front of you.
Yeah.
And just to be able to play in a big game like this with the nation watching, right?
Yeah.
Just what's that going to be like?
It's going to be amazing. I think this will be our 6th time on national television. So, I mean, it's pretty cool. But, it's just, it's a blessing, especially coming to Georgia State. Because, I don't think we had this many games back-to-back. Which, like I said, when you keep winning, they want to watch. So, but yeah, it's fun, and it should be a good atmosphere.
So my last question is, how different does your focus have to be, right? Because it's real easy, especially when you're having more success, it's real easy to kind of get caught up in things and maybe not focus in on the task at hand. So how were you guys able to do that?
I just remembering the end goal, what we said at the beginning from game 1 all the way to right now, the Sun Belt Championship. What we work hard for, and just focusing on little things, knowing that we have it's a way bigger picture, and James Madison in the way, unfortunately. So that's just how it is.
Always good to hear from Coach Elliott and the players over there at GSU. Once again, rooting for them this weekend. I think they have a really good chance of I have confidence. I have some confidence that they'll come out with that win. Real quick, what's on your mind, Lee?
Well, it's Football Friday. High school football's happening. This is the last week of the regular season. Playoffs start next week. But we've got a couple of quick matchups that could decide the region championships. We got tonight on our air. We're going to have, Parkview and Grayson.
Nice.
Milton and Lambert, and then the big one is North Gwinnett and Norcross. So,
cool.
So rivalry games. We got a lot of stuff going on right before the path to the state championship begins next week.
Really cool, really dope. Hey, what's on my mind is my Cleveland Browns this week are getting Deshaun Watson back in action.
Oh,
I know he barely plays, right? Well, he's going to be back in action.
Dude, you sure you want him back?
Sure. I mean, it beats having P.J. Walker at the quarterback position, of course. So I'm happy to have him back this week so we can get him back in tune because next week they play the Ravens, which is a real team, right? They play the Ravens next week. So this week they got the Cardinals, so they should win with either me or you at quarterback this week. But now they got Deshaun Watson back in the fold, so I'm expecting a win. This has been a fun football Friday. This is Sports Night on a Friday. Once again, I'm sports producer Scott Pennyman. Lee, it's been pretty dope, right?
Ton of fun.
Cool. We'll be right back at you next week.